Let me start recording. There we go, to make sure I don't get in trouble. What is up, guys? Did you guys enjoy Epic Sax Guy? Dude, this thing was Eurovision. Like, we don't really watch it in North America, or at least I don't know anybody who does, but I know it's like huge. There's some like bangers in Eurovision. What's up, guys? Comes in with mic setup and quality audio. Let's go. I know I'm becoming a professional. Okay, guys, we'll be going through the full expansion patch notes here in a minute. We're gonna go through it all here on Discord, on stream, whatever, and then we're gonna do lots of questions throughout as well. Definitely notice that on the existing dev blogs there was like quite a bit of confusion on some things, even amongst like guardians and stuff too, who you know, if they're confused on something, then probably many people are. So yeah, that's really the goal of this stream, to clear up a ton of questions as well, go deeper into some of the different mechanics as well, and make sure that's all clearly understood. Some people were like concerned with pets, thinking that they were only able to be purchased. However, that is a confusion there, because you are able to use silver for the wheels as well as for the Munk Carnival. But we're going to go through all of that in 1 second here. I think, okay, I think we're good to go on both of these. Let me just make sure. Okay. We actually have like a dev blog and the full expansion notes. So we're going to go through the PvP dev blog first here, guys. I want to open the audio for YouTube. Please don't use copy music. Oh, yeah, that's not in the recording, so you're good. You'll be fine. Or, oh, unless you mean like on stream. That's a good point. All right, let's jump into it, guys. First, we're going to go over the open world PvP changes and monoliths and everything coming there. And then we're going to go over the full expansion notes, because there's a ton of stuff in there that that has not been teased or shared yet. So we're going to go through all of it. Also recap a bunch of things. So I'll go through it all again for anyone who hasn't seen them. We're going to go rapid fire through, though, and feel free to ask any questions along the way, and I'll try and get to them right away or at the end. With the Monk Madness expansion, we are introducing a complete overhaul to regional PvP and unveiling mysterious new structures of power, the Aether Monoliths. Gather your allies, ready your weapons, and claim your place in an ever-shifting battlefield's glory. PvP zones. Adventurers can now better plan their battle across the ever-changing landscape of open world PvP. With the Monk Madness, 3 regions will always be in conflict, each lasting 3 hours. After 1 hour has passed, one of these regions escalates into a full war zone for the remaining 2 hours. Once their timer ends, these regions return to peace, and a new set of 3 regions rises to take their place, ensuring a constant dynamic rotation of battlefields. This was really important in the rework, guys, because one of the areas that we understand is we have 2 audiences, right? We have players that love PvP and want to go flex on every other player and kill a bunch of other players. And then we also have players who just have no interest in PvP. They just want to PvE. They want to be cozy. They're not worried about the PvP side. And so we built the system in a different way, making it so that with late game regions, 3 will always be in PvP and the remainder will not be, and with them alternating. And with this, the goal is that if you're like, hey, I don't want to PvP, I'm okay not PvPing or whatever, I'd rather avoid that and not be stressed out while I'm just trying to do a quest, you are able to go to any other region during that time. It's designed in a way that you will be able to have like another location that you can go grind or gather or complete a quest over there. And then when they swap, you're able to go back to that region without the fear of PvP. However, what's important is, what are the reasons to PvP? PvPing for many is just fun. They duel just because they like to PvP, and they're a PvP head. That's myself and basically any MMO. I just love PvP. However, incentives buying PvP are great for those players that maybe are in the middle ground, right? Maybe they kind of enjoy PvP, but they're like, you know what? I'm progressing slower if I'm having to fight other players. I'd rather just go, power grind. That is why we have brought in much bigger regional buffs to PvP. This is just a list of the regions that can become conflict in Warzone. But most importantly, reasons to PvP. PvPing is, again, you'll have your niche amount of people that just want to PvP all the time because they just enjoy it, right? They just love the feeling of competing with another player and who's better and stuff like that. But then there's also it's good to encourage people to go to PvP zones, right? So that there is like natural organic conflict as well, right? And so with this, we have essentially redone how the buffs work for PvP regions. Now, instead of having a little bit of two things, they will have a much more significant boost to a specific thing. So while in a conflict or war zone, each region receives a powerful bonus to reward those who risk open conflict. So they will either have one of these three bonuses: plus 20% experience from creatures, plus 20% drop rate from creatures, or plus 25% chance to double materials when open world gathering. Some people can't hear the audio. Wait, what? What do you... It is the correct mic. Wait, what? What audio can't you hear? Like the music? Join any other voice channel and come back. No sound. Okay. Should I restart this? Okay, hold on. Let's do a vote. Audio working. Yes, no. Yes. No. Oh my God. Okay, just say yes or no. All right, ban that guy. Ban that fucking guy. Get him out of here. Music? Nope. Yeah, there's no music right now. No sound. You're fucking unbelievable. Did you try leaving the call and rejoining? It's just one guy? Okay, well then... Okay, then maybe he just has an audio issue on his side. Okay. Now that I was interrupted, let's get back on. Every active conflict or war zone is granted one of these buffs at random, encouraging exploration, combat, and across all territories. To be clear, we know that some regions, one of these may be better, right? We understand that one region, maybe double materials will be more impactful. Maybe in another region, it almost has no impact. That is okay. This is intentionally designed this way. We want certain regions to be like, oh shit, this region, great gathering already, and now it's 25% chance to get double materials. We want that. We want certain regions to be more impactful, less impactful, etc. Really bringing like prime regions in each rotation. So please save the re's of this region is plus 25% materials and there's barely any materials, okay? We want to see who's talking. You can see that I'm talking. Additionally, the plunder channel will be temporarily disabled during this period to focus PvP activity into these updated dynamic regions. Ultimately, the plunder channel has not had a great purpose up until this point. We have a pretty big rework that we want to do to it. However, first we want to test out these changes to the open world. We think it's much better to bring the PvP as an organic part of the game instead of like a very specific channel where really the reality is one guild will usually be running rampant on it and no one else really fosters up a fighting force against it. Even if there are two strong guilds, they usually, whoever has kind of dominance at that time will remain dominant. We just feel like it's better to currently disable it. Again, that's why we did bring such big buffs to the open world and then repurpose it. Really, we see plunder as an interesting opportunity to bring like a kind of Guild Wars feeling vibe in terms of it's open at certain times and guilds can really like prep and fight on the plunder channel. And maybe we bring in like additional things that they fight over, etc. We just didn't really see a huge purpose with it with the rework to the open world PvP. With these changes, followed by the addition of Aether Monoliths explained below, We believe that open world PvP will be more streamlined and rewarding than ever, inviting guilds, groups, and lone adventurers alive to dive headfirst into the fray and collect the spoils of war. Aether Monolith. This is the part I'm very excited for. Again, another thing for us was not only how do we drive reason to want to be in PvP zones, even if you maybe don't want to PvP, how do we also drive more interest in certain points in the PvP zone, right? How do we drive a point of conflict? And so we designed Aether Monoliths. In the wake of so much battle, the land itself begins to stir, and ancient Aether Monoliths awaken. Ominous ruins with crystalline spires pulsing with chaotic aether energy. Their origin remains unknown, and scholars still debate the true nature, but guilds across the realm have already begun to fight for control for their mysterious power. Capturing monoliths. When a region shifts into war zone, so again, 3 regions will be in conflict, and 1 of them will shift into war zone each rotation, the Aether Monolith is activated. 30 minutes after activation, the monolith can be captured by guild members. This should actually just say players, Neos, if you're listening in, because it can be captured by a player. It doesn't have to be a guild member, who can then channel their power for 60 seconds without interruption. Or maybe it does have to be a guild member, actually. It might actually have to be. The process can be interrupted by damaging the channeling adventurer, meaning coordination and defense are vital to succeed. If channeling continues for 60 seconds, the Aether Monolith is captured by the player and or guild. Capturing an Aether Monolith grants a large amount of fame to every online guild member who holds a guild crest, strengthening their name and prestige across the realm. Your guild can capture a monolith once every 2 hours, but that doesn't mean you can't interrupt other guilds' plans in the meantime. Additionally, in the future, the number of monoliths your guild has claimed will be displayed on the Aether Monolith leaderboard to be released for all to see. So essentially what these are objects that will activate in war zones, and guilds or groups are able to fight over them. It will reward all online members. We did it this way for a few anti-abuse things, but also to make sure that it's not just one player in the guild and that it's a whole guild kind of wide bonus to everybody in that. You forgot end of the day. He replaced it with ultimately. I did. Fuck. And then just a little bit of fluff here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up. Any questions? I'm gonna go back through the chat because there was questions during this, and I'll go through those, and then we'll go into the full expansion blog. Yeah, Doubter. I think we definitely can add more buffs to monoliths and stuff. In the end of the day, let me revert back here. We want to first implement the system, make sure that we feel happy with it, that it's balanced well, that it's designed well, and that any tweaks need to happen to it. That's why we do mention the leaderboard. I think there's really interesting elements that we can bring in with that. But yeah. God damn it, Hutch. Wait, hold on. This bingo card is actually pretty good. Okay, I think most of that is complete already. Bitverse Andy, can someone make sure that my question is asked? Will war supplies be targetable, killable when spawned? Ballistas will be, yes. And can my band of war band of 10 people drop 10 ballistas at once? We'll go over the different rules that are involved in them. CT Guild is recruiting. Is there any anti-Zerg mechanics for making it fair or a little bit easier for smaller guilds? Anti-Zerg mechanics are very tricky to design. There's a bunch of different things that we like, but it is very tricky. There's so many loopholes to consider. That's why instead we've made it that every channel will have a monolith and a guild can only capture one. So with that, ultimately, in the end of the day, there will be monoliths that will be maybe easier fights, more fair fights. There will be ones that are more lopsided, etc. I encourage you to be exploring for which ones you guys want to grab. Can we get a filter for guild members on battle list since we'll be getting some guild content soon? I'll add that to the notes. I always make a ton of notes during these and then stress engineers out. Pedrox, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Could be nice if it were 6 hours each, so you could coordinate more with guild members for doing it strategically and gather more members, maybe. Yeah. So do you mean they're like having it so you can only capture one every 6 hours, or do you mean that they occur every like second cycle of PvP regions? No, you could capture once each 6 hours. So, okay, so only every 6 hours your guild could capture one. I feel like that would limit the amount of people fighting over monoliths quite a bit. Like, we see really cool situations where there's multiple guilds fighting over one. But we'd probably sooner make it so it spawns every second cycle. But again, these are things that we want to see happen in real time. I think we're definitely open to changing it. Let us change the roster to the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll make a note of that as well. Is this the only thing for the event, or will there be spoilers? Dude, we're about to go through the entire expansion blog. This is just a little intro. However, some of it you guys have seen already on the expansion post. Oh, also, if any of you guys missed it in the announcement, I want, hold on. I should have done this first. To be clear, raids are not coming in 2 days, okay? I want to be super clear. I just wanted to show you the incredible work one of our senior artists has done on the raid boss. It has multiple phases. His hand gets like destroyed and reanimates. It's been an insane endeavor. He's done an incredible job with it. This is just showing the animation of it breaking and reassembling. It is like you can see the size of the boss compared to the players. It has been a masterclass in what he's done. Turned out incredible, and there's still so much more to be done on it. But we wanted to show you guys a quick teaser on it. Something we're very, very excited about. Also, someone already mentioned there was no healer. He just put these as character outfits as props. I do apologize. We're going to pretend that this is spiritual holy, okay? But they will be 6-man groups. And yes, the boss is very much designed around the Holy Trinity. The raids will, in general, be designed around Holy Trinity. Healer will be non-optional. Tank will be non-optional. And by that, I mean, you're not literally forced to like have someone like meet something or something, but you're not going to be having a good time without a clear Holy Trinity. So healers, this is very much for you guys to give you guys a really, really strong role, and same with for tanks. But yeah, the boss looks fucking incredible, and the stuff that we have involved with the boss is also stuff that we're very, very excited about. I'm good tank. I might have a job then. Hell yeah. Tanks learn how to tank now, please. That means build, thread, and hold still, damn it. Oh my god, yeah, the healer that is always asking on healing stuff can't hear this. Oh my god. He's gonna think we did it intentionally. All right, now let's get into the full stuff. Monk Madness update notes, Wednesday, November 19th. We are less than 3 days away, and we are going to be sharing a bunch that you guys, I don't know what your message was, but I unfortunately can't read whatever language you sent. God damn. Here, let me cross one off for you there. Kisner. There we go. We have one crossed off. Welcome. So again, some of this you guys have already seen already in our dev blogs, but we have more. But we're going to go through it all once more anyways, just for anyone who missed stuff. Welcome adventurers to the Munk Carnival. The Monk Madness expansion arrives in 3 days on November 22nd. We're not going to go through all the fluff. We're going to just go right into it. Trailer as well. Munk Carnival. The monks have outdone themselves with the grand opening of the Munk Carnival, a place where laughter, music, and chants fills the air. Beyond the route portal in RAVENQUEST lies a colorful world of games, rewards, and wonders awaiting for all kinds. Explore the brand new Munk Carnival grounds where you'll find attractions and games of chance to test your luck, and if fortune is in your favor, walk around in new riches, stake in thrilling Moa races, blah, blah, blah. Well, you guys get it. Turned out incredible, though. The video quality kind of gets a little cooked for some reason. You can see it's a little grainy, but overall, the area looks amazing. We have a bunch of other little games we want to add here. You'll see empty spots for those games. These are quite quick for us to build out, but with the expansion, we wanted to just bring in a few games to start, and then ultimately, we wanted to bring some other stuff as well, such as like the open world PvP zones, all that kind of stuff. While the Munk Carnival is something that we're very excited about, and it's a very cozy place and brings in a lot of cool new features. We also wanted to, it's also just a fraction of what is coming in the expansion. It's one of many pieces. This goes more into Carnival and Lucky Chips are used to play. They can either be obtained with silver or Lucky Coins and traded back. So you're able to get chips and you're able to exchange them back for silver or Lucky Coins in proportion. So you are, to be clear, you are able to get Carnival chips with silver. You are not needed to use Lucky Coins to obtain these, so you guys can get them purely with in-game currency there. More on the Carnival dev blog if you want to read more. Moa Racing, you guys already saw a bunch of stuff on this. Going down, Lucky Raffle. Feeling lucky? Visit Cornelius Gold Whiskers Lucky Raffle, hosted by the fantabulously charismatic Sultan of Lucky Paws, Cornelius Gold Whisker himself. Sorry, this part was written by Cornelius. The Lucky Raffle is your chance to turn Carnival chips into fortune. Purchase tickets, enter the draw, and wait for the grand announcement that can make you the next big winner. Each raffle resets every 72 hours, so there's always another opportunity to test your luck and walk away with an incredible prize. We're not showing what the reward here, though, is. However, we will have some very cool rewards that are looping through this. You are able to obtain them with silver to enter into it. Yeah, so ultimately getting tickets. And the nice part about this system is the rewards will be bigger, smaller, different every cycle or every like phase, every 3 days. But it is based on how many tickets enter. So if it's a less exciting reward that maybe less people care about, less people will buy tickets, meaning you have a higher chance of winning the reward. Again, this is done with silver. Raffle tickets can only be purchased with Carnival chips. These chips can be exchanged for silver with the Monk Chip Master. Yeah. how much is a pet roll? Someone told me 500 lucky coins. To be clear, you can get pets from either the silver or lucky coin wheels. So you are able to obtain a pet as well. Just with, well, you don't use it with silver. You play the games and then you get stubs and you use those. But they're obtained with silver. And no, they are not 500 lucky coins to spin the wheel. Pets, meet all the adventures, ultimate companions. Pets come in multiple rarities, each with their own personality, including the elusive shiny pets. One-of-a-kind companions that can only be claimed once. Pets provide useful bonuses in form of pet perks, and rare ones can perform gemstone transmutation to turn gemstones into quests. Spin the Munk Carnival's fortune wheel for a chance at treasures and priceless friends alike. With Carnival stubs or lucky stubs obtained when taking chips, you can give the Carnival wheel and the lucky wheel a spin for a chance at valuable prizes. And with a little luck, one of these companions may manifest eager to join your adventures. Again, I'm not sure why the video is grainy, but here are your roster of pets. These are the shiny versions here. The way that this works is each of the legendary pets, the first time for each pet, the first time each pet is pulled, that person will automatically get the shiny version instead. It's a one of one. There won't be another version of it. And they are guaranteed a trait as well, so an extra bonus there. But then the other cool part is visually, they are always unique from the other ones. There are no shiny versions of the other pets, only the legendary pets. And just for anyone who doesn't know, these companions do follow you around in game. You are able to turn them off if you don't want to see them. In PvP, they automatically despawn just to avoid too much visual noise while you're PvPing, but otherwise they are following you around, hanging out with you, and motivating you on your journeys. From common to legendary, pets come in many shapes and flavors, but all can provide useful pet perks. Every pet has a chance of having any of the following perks, and higher rarity pets provide stronger bonuses. Attribute perks. Oh yeah, these are just the different perks. When it comes to traits, pets have a very small chance to get a trait unless it's a shiny one, then it has guaranteed. Essentially, these traits allow them to be more efficient with their energy when it comes to gemstone transmutation based on a certain gem type. Leaderboards. That's not all. Munk Madness just got even more exciting. It's time to prove your skill and your fortune and your madness in not just one, but 2 brand new seasonal leaderboards. We will have 2 leaderboards that are going live with Munk Madness. The Carnival leaderboard. Think you got what it takes to rise above the crowd. Every time you stake in Carnival games such as Moa Racing to the Lucky Raffle, you earn Carnival or Lucky Stubs. And those stubs now fuel your climb in the Carnival leaderboard, essentially getting points based on the stubs you obtain. This leaderboard is open to all players, and the top competitors will walk away with quest rewards at the end of the season. Whether you're cheering for your Moa or stacking tickets for your next raffle draw, every play gets you one step closer to the top. Go live on the 22nd. The next one, this is a landowner-only leaderboard. For the Master Transmuters and Gemstone Hoarders, a new challenge awaits. Pets of arcane rarity and above can turn your gemstones into quest, and now your alchemical prowess will earn you a place in the transmutation leaderboard. This exclusive leaderboard tracks the total number of gemstones you've transmuted, the total quest earned through transmutation. 1 quest equals 1 leaderboard point. This is a landowners only leaderboard, but the rewards are worth the effort. The top 20 players will receive lands and lucky coins. Yes, there is a stronghold for top 1, cementing their place among powerful adventurers. Just to be clear, sorry, my headset turned off. It always fucks with me. I can leave it off. Just to be clear, the land from this is land that we bought back. This is land usage. So what this means, that is land that you are able to fully use in game, but it will not hit the market. It is out of the circulating supply. That is when we did the $20,000 land buyback. And so this does not go back into the circulating supply. And that is why it's landowners only. We want to get these rewards back to landowners, getting them more land for still holding land. And so if you are a landowner, you're still holding land, you are amongst the smaller percentage that is able to participate in this leaderboard. I believe, yeah, we have top 20 positions for it. It goes everything from first place being a stronghold down to small lands, as well as lucky coins for you landowners. Wrong game. Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts now, is now we got like crossover communities. We also will talk about the max land here shortly. We have much more to share still. I didn't understand anything, so I got to read this by myself. Totally fair. I also talk really fast. X, I think it's more just for like me grabbing questions out of the chat and stuff and just keeping it more organized. But you can always go in like the tavern and also like the individual language taverns there. Otherwise, I just, you know, if there's like a ton of people speaking in their native languages, it just makes it way harder for me to pull questions from the chat, you know? I hope you understand. Okay. Oh yeah, Guild Wars. Rally your warband. The battlefield evolves with the arrival of Guild Wars supplies. During Guild Wars, you and your companions can now purchase specialized tools to shift the tide of battle in your favor. From deadly bolt spitter ballistas to tactical banners that bolster allies and pressure opponents. Designed to encourage new strategies and teamwork, these supplies make every battle more dynamic than ever. I'm sorry, I just got a notification. Okay, all good. The Monk Provisioner, stationed just outside each team's base camp, offers powerful new tools for every front line. Bolt spitter ballistas allow guilds to fortify positions or create kill zones that pressure attackers. Strategic banners provide short-lasting boosts to damage, defense, health regeneration, and also, I believe, speed, letting teams push forward and hold ground when it matters most. War supplies are limited in how many you can carry, and all share a personal cooldown. So their placement and timing become key elements of a guild's broader strategy. Plan well, coordinate with your allies, and unleash these tools at pivotal moments to gain the upper hand. Gather your officers, start planning your strategy with fresh intel. So essentially the way these work, guys, is you will be able to buy different supplies when you are going into a guild war to turn the tide of battle. There is a shared cooldown across all of them, but then also I believe individual cooldown. And there are a few other kind of restrictions as well to avoid really weird scenarios like 50 things being dropped at once. However, again, these are for the entire guild war. So you can be using them more aggressively early. You could be saving them later to kind of turn the guild war in your favor. But the goal is to add another level of kind of strategy when your guild drops certain banners, perhaps drops ballistas, etc. Trying to add just some more depth to guild war. So it's not just basically a straight up Zerg fest, and it allows a little bit more of a meta involved as well. Are war supplies destroyable? Ballistas are. I believe banners are as well, but banners don't last nearly as long. Banners are more like dropping a buff for your team. So I'm not actually positive off my head if they are destroyable, but they won't really be worth coming into anyways. Ballistas are more the ones that are worth destroying. I lost audio as well. Shoot. I wonder if Discord is having issues. Weird. How many of you guys are without audio? How many without audio? Say me. It might be worth it just to redo this. Oh, there's actually quite a few. Well, when I say start over, I just mean like closing this stream and restarting it. That's all. Now I recovered audio. Okay, let us know if it happens again, and then we'll restart it, okay? Let us know if it happens. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Discord has issues at times. Unfortunate, but let us know if it happens again, and we'll restart it. Okay, Guild Shop. Something that has been requested for a very long time from the community. Something we want to do is bring a little bit more depth into guilds. Again, with any expansion or major update or update in general, we can't bring every single thing every single person wants, right? We generally have to look at, okay, what are a few different systems that we really want to add more to and bring more to, or we feel like many players want. Again, there's going to be 100 different systems that 100 different people are going to want. Many times it feels like majority as well. But ultimately we can only do so much each update, but you guys will see, I mean, you can see how long the update notes are. We put a lot of work into yet another expansion. What is that? 3 months after the last expansion. We've very much been cooking. The team's been working very hard and brought a lot of stuff with this expansion. And we'll continue to bring more, right? We have the raids that we teased today that the art is almost done on. And then there's obviously a lot of other things we also want to bring. There's lots of PvE content we want to bring, different journals, different quests, new quests. There's never, it's an endless road. There's always new things we want to bring. And yeah. Empower your guild. The guild shop has arrived, bringing a new way for guilds to grow stronger together. Members can now purchase and activate powerful guild-wide buffs that benefit every active member. Whether your guild focuses on hunting, gathering, crafting, or expeditions, these buffs help every member progress faster and achieve more each day. Guild buffs can be activated using silver or quest. Leaders and vice leaders may choose to fund activations using the guild bank, while other members must spend personal funds. They, just to be clear, means members can't use like the guild bank on the leadership's behalf. Once activated, each buff lasts 24 hours, and all buffs can run simultaneously to support any activity your guild pursues. Available buffs include combat experience, boosts experience gained from defeating creatures, monster drop rate, increased chance of finding aether stones, enhanced experience gained from gathering, enhanced experience gained from crafting, and increases expedition luck, improving the chances to find shiny keys. With every member able to contribute and every buff strengthening the whole guild, the guild shop becomes a powerful centerpiece for long-term cooperation and growth. Just so you know, the cost of guild buffs does scale based on members. And so what that basically means is smaller guilds, don't worry, you guys aren't completely axed out of this. Bigger guilds will essentially pay proportionally more for the larger guild itself. Basically, it's by a member basis. So if you have more members benefiting from it, it's more expensive. If you have less members benefiting from it, it's cheaper. How about them chargers? They're chargering, baby. Okay, that's all I'll say. Open World PvP. Oh, we just went through this, so we'll skip this section. High stakes. We are happy to introduce a new optional mode for Expeditions and Aether Echoes called High Stakes. This mode allows players to invest more resources up front in exchange for significantly greater rewards, earning 3x the rewards of a normal Expedition Aether Echo. Essentially, in a nutshell, guys, what this is you can pay 3x entry with Aether Scrolls or Expeditions and get 3x rewards. It's higher risk, but more of a time saver. You're not getting like more rewards proportional to the entry or anything like that. It basically means that if you're like, hey, I've run so many expeditions, I want to do this more efficiently. It allows you to take that higher risk, but ultimately saving time. So it is a higher risk running it. However, you do save the time of running 3 if you choose to do that. Same with Aether Echo Scrolls. Really what we wanted to do is look at the activities that players are doing a lot every day, and how can we allow the people that have done it a lot to shorten the amount of time put into those things by a lot. This has been something that's been nonstop requested by the top Echoes people and Expedition people, allowing for them to have a much more efficient, but again, it does come with higher risk on your entry. With that, proportionally, players receive 3x the revives, potential revives, to account for the fact that it's 3x entry, and then 3x on everything. So it's basically 3x for 3x. Yeah. Does it apply to non-crest members as well? I believe so. I'm 99% positive. I don't want to misspeak. We probably would have mentioned it would need a crest otherwise. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I'm pretty much positive. Love that. Please have more time saving options. Some of us have jobs. 100%. This is something that it's a constant back and forth, right? People want like more things to do in a day, but then also there's players that like it's just too much time. They don't have that time available. And so we're looking at changing like multiple systems in this way. This is really just the first one that we want to do. Someone mentioned rifts. I think there's interesting elements there. There's lots of areas here that we're like, okay, how can we like improve this? Yeah. But then there's also players who are like, I freaking love expeditions. Don't just make it so we do a third as many. Just give us the option, right? We ran into that when we were chatting with some community members on feedback on this, and they were like, okay, but keep the 1x option too, because I like doing expeditions and I want to have more runs and each of them be different. It's like my favorite part of content. But then there's also players who are like, I've done so many expeditions. Let me just run through these quicker. Bounties. Which part are you referring to as Zurich? You mean like Rangers Company? Yeah, there's something interesting there that we're looking at. One of them is a pretty big change to Rangers Company. We're meeting on it the last couple of days here with the game design team. Yeah, there's some tweaks we want to make to Rangers Company as well. Just like Expeditions, high stake Aether Echoes are now available. Again, 3x per member, 3x experience loot. Counts as 3 completions towards the achievement as well. Creature spawns. With the new expansion, we are introducing 5 new monster respawns across a wide range of levels, each accompanied by a fresh Rangers Company task, a new hive of tiger bugs, Ingillied pirates of Adler's Nest, new Morningstar spawn, new Pumadillo spawn. This is probably one of the most requested things ever. And then a new skeleton area as well. General changes. Several mechanical improvements have been made to the expedition system to enhance pacing, balance, and rewards, particularly in situations where players are unable to fully complete a run. Side room logic adjustments. Side paths are now limited to a single room, preventing long detours or excessive backtracking. Both side rooms will now always branch from different main rooms, ensuring better map distribution and exploration variety. Profession check experience. Players now receive profession experience when successfully completing a profession check through the level requirement. Experience rewards scale by a tier of the check. So now you will gain a nice little amount of profession experience when you complete a check as well. Just a little bonus, a little cherry on top for completing a profession check. Boss room mechanic adjustments. Reduce the number of trap combinations in boss rooms to provide smoother and more balanced experience. This was something that has been requested a lot. There was just, the traps made the mechanics just weird and awkward, and it just felt awkward and it felt like you were like just trying to avoid landmines instead of actually fighting a boss. Remove traps that previously cluttered the center of rooms, allowing for more flexibility gameplay across different builds. Yes, sir, 3Vaughn. Yes, sir. Potions. We've applied several adjustments to the potion system, refining cooldowns, restoration values, and how different consumables interact. These adjustments aim to make potion usage more intuitive, consistent, and better balanced overall. The changes include reduce cooldown of all potions from 45 to 30 seconds, updated share cooldown rules. So now the most important part, mana potions and health potions are now on separate cooldowns. So you no longer have to decide between the two of them. This is especially big for like casters or hybrid builds and stuff. You will now be able to use them both on separate cooldowns. There's also some adjustments made to the NPC costs of potions, and we removed the overtime restoration effects and instead have the built-in healing, which felt much more fitting to potions. Raven cards. Raven cards will now grant renown for both ascendable and non-ascendable versions of each rarity. I thought that already. Oh no, that is a change. Increase the renown values of the following Raven card rarities. This is for only ascendable card. Wait, no. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up in our own things. Essentially, we felt that the higher rarity cards were not giving enough renown. This is something that was echoed by pretty much the entire community. So we increased the value of the renown from those higher tier cards and ultimately making them more valuable. But then also, many mentioned that there wasn't enough of a reason to also want to have ascendable versions of cards. And so now you will be able to get renown from both the ascendable and non-ascendable versions. So if you are someone who has ascendable cards, congratulations, you are going to be getting a nice boost to your renown with the expansion. These changes will be applied retroactively, granting additional renown players with existing Raven card collections. Harder to do it this way, much harder to do it this way than just for new cards, but we wanted to make sure that everyone that had cards already They're not like, oh, now I need to like get this card again, or I'm not getting that boost. Now it applies for every card that you already have. General changes, the gathering time reduction. By the way, I won't be answering questions for anyone who skipped forward, okay? We're going to go through all of it, or pretty much all of it. General changes, the gathering time reduction skill found on the second row of the profession passes has been reworked for farming, husbandry, wood cutting, and herbalism. New effect increases the base chance of obtaining higher quality materials by X%, but it's a multiplicative on the base chance. Mining is the only profession retaining and receiving an increase to its gathering time reduction effect, as its benefits uniquely from this mechanic compared to other gathering professions. Mass craft. This has been something that's also been requested a ton. We wanted to bring a lot of quality of life as well with this expansion, things that you guys have been asking for a while. Mass craft. Apply improvements to mass craft feature to make large-scale crafting more rewarding and better aligned with profession progression. Base mass craft amount has been increased from 5x to 10x, and the mass craft increase per profession level above the recipe from 3 to 10. Maximum mass craft limit increased from 50 to 200, so 4 times as much. Let me scroll up, by the way, because I missed any questions or feedback. New mob spawns, that counts as PV content. Danke? Yeah, of course. When balance changes, we're getting to it. We're getting to it, brother. Huge. In the cost of guild base on all members or only active players, 99% sure it's only active players. So you will not have to worry about like kicking a bunch of old members. I'm almost positive. Again, there is a million things here. I was involved in all of it, but some of it was already, you know, a month and a half ago that it got worked on, etc. So, but I know we put in like certain things to make sure that you're not like, yeah, frustrated over that, or people are like leeching and stuff like that. Yes, post and change. I count that as PvP content. Fuck yeah. But I know that was very much quality of life requested, was the switching them to be on different cooldowns. I enter the expedition, then die right after I kill 2 skeletons. Can we get an idle version of RAVENQUEST? We'll see if we can cook something like that up. Give me a bit. Maybe we'll announce one that we cooked up. That might be live already. Thank you for letting me forage while riding my Moa. Best update ever. You're reading ahead. God damn it. I'm creaming. I love the quality of life. Good. Good. We ain't celebrating because we boys. Oh, it's live already. Even better. So many changes, you don't even know it's live. I was literally just talking with the team about this yesterday. Like, listen, I know it's never enough. There's never enough content. There's never enough new things, changes, improvements. I understand that. But from Treasures Below to just a few months later, Munk Madness, how much is in just the Munk Madness expansion, not including like all the things in between that time that we've changed, improved, added. I'm insanely proud of the team, as always. They cook. They work really fucking hard to bring as much as possible. Again, it's never enough. I know that. And we never feel it's enough. We always feel like, oh, can we get one more thing in? Can we get this in? People really want this. Like, can we do this really quick? I always have that feeling. And that's a good thing. I never want to lose that. But they could not work harder on delivering as much as possible. And I'm very proud of them. Very proud of them. They work incredibly, incredibly hard. Fishing. Reduce the overall amount of treasure obtained through fishing. Reduce the chance of treasure chests to contain gems. These are not like the gemstones. Mining, we are introducing several mining adjustments at improving pacing and creating a more balanced gathering experience. These updates refine the time required to harvest nodes, the amount of progress gained, et cetera, increase time. Okay, lots of changes here. Passive changes. Hasty Herbalist has been reworked due to the frustration caused by automatically leaving behind extra herbs and new design, blah, blah, blah. You guys know it. Miscellaneous. Players can now deposit up to 7 lands and use 7 lands in game. Previously, the limit was 5. Gemstones now have an additional tier. Tier 8 gemstones have been added to the game. To be clear, these are the same success chance and the same increase compared to, I'm 98% sure. God damn. Anyways, tier 8 gemstones, enjoy. Remove the quest pass requirement to get silver or certificates using quests in the currency exchange. This was something that's been mentioned many times. People say like, hey, I brought a new friend in. They wanted to get some silver. They wanted to get whatever. And they need a quest pass just to be able to exchange their quest. This obviously just creates a unnecessary friction for people that want to get quest and use quest. And there should be no friction there. So we reworked it to make it so it's only one side. To be clear, the reason why we have the other side is an anti-bot measure, right? So people can't just make a bunch of characters, exchange it to quest, and just extract, right? That is why we have it on one side. However, there's no reason to have it on the other side. We want to encourage people wanting to get quest and essentially using that quest. While the temporary 75% reduction to death debt has been reverted, the system has been rebalanced, and its overall cost has been now permanently reduced by 50%. Players will now only pay half the original amount upon death. Players can no longer reset their tribute points while inside Expeditions, Aether Echoes, or arena matches. This restriction does not apply to the arena lobby. This is just for some anti-abuse reasons. To make cooldown information clear and more consistent across interface, several adjustments have been made to skill-related UI elements. Cooldown has been renamed to Final Cooldown. Raven Card Rarity has been renamed to Raven Card Tier. The cooldown shown in skill descriptions now always displays the base cooldown and no longer updates when the skill is upgraded. When a story quest or Ranger's Company task is not tracked in the quest tracker, its marker will now be hidden on both the world map and minimap. Feral Jackals are now part of the Jackal family. Chat tags will no longer be included when copying a player's name. All right, balance changes. Adventurers, before we dive into the specifics of this balance patch, we want to share our moving philosophy on game balance. In any living, breathing MMORPG, there is nothing worse than a stale meta. While the dream of perfect balance is always desired, the truth is it is not only is it unachievable, even for the biggest, most competitive games in the world, but it can often lead to a less fun and less dynamic experience for players. While we always strive for strong balance, we believe it is more important to ensure that the meta in RAVENQUEST is a constant. That's my fault too. Evolving one. With this expansion and moving forward, we'll be looking at more frequently bring new meta-changing balance patches. Yes, this means some builds that were once dominant may no longer be the top choice. We want to foster an environment where you're encouraged to constantly explore new builds, discover new synergies, and conquer new metas. The game is a living world, and its combat should feel just as alive. Really what this means, guys, is we are going to be much more looking at like radical changes and then tuning from there. So ultimately, we want to make sure that the best part, in my opinion, of especially, well, PvE and PvP, in MMOs, again, in my opinion, that feeling of like exploration, trying new things, trying new builds, trying new loadouts, and seeing what's strong, seeing what's not. We want to bring much more of the back in the game. I very much, this was mentioned by some community members, and I absolutely agree with them that a unbalanced meta is better than a stale meta. And I very much agree with that. Games that have like no change in the meta and it's the same way for months and months and months, they lose the charm. They lose one of the funnest parts about playing games. And ultimately we would rather something, us make a ton of changes, really radical changes, change how the game's played in many ways. And maybe something ends up being really strong, or maybe something ends up being really weak, and adjusting from there rather than just really tiny little things, and ultimately the meta doesn't change in any way. This has been something that we've changed kind of our philosophy on. We've realized that ultimately this is what many games do actually intentionally, because they want to keep the game fresh and keep new builds interesting and new things that people want to explore. So now we have quite a few changes. Some of these are huge. Some of these are huge changes. Primary focus for Warfare was addressing resource inconsistency. Previously, several core abilities had no mana or health cost, allowing unlimited use, while other archetypes had to manage resources. This inconsistency was really painful for Feasting Strike, which provided free and prolonged sustain, while other types had no access to such tools at all. We've added mana cost to these free abilities and increased some cooldowns to bring Warfare in line with game-wide resource management standards and create more meaningful decisions. Ultimately, in the end of the day, when it came to these changes, a big thing we looked at was what are win rates across rifts, what is grinding rates across PvE, what are boss fight rates, all this kind of stuff, and where did we see consistently the top skills, the top builds, what was constantly at the top. Again, many of these changes, we might adjust, we might revert, we might, do different things based on what we see, but ultimately we wanted to make a very fresh meta. We wanted to change things up radically. So going through it, Brutal Strike, basically we added a small amount of mana, still less mana than the appropriate tiers in others, in other archetypes. So Warfare is still meant to be a lower mana usage archetype, but we ultimately felt that it needed some of that. Just give us the bad news, bro. Yeah, I know. This is the thing with balance patches, by the way, that I just want to add. We never like doing a balance patch. We hate doing it. We internally like doing it because we think they're important to the game, but we hate sharing them because we know what always happens. People are gonna be like, oh, why'd you nerf this? You're so retarded. Why did you buff this? You're so stupid. You don't know anything. We put a lot of work into these. We chat a lot with different people that we feel like have a very good unbiased opinion on it, but we also use a ton of information that we have. We don't do these just random nitpicky, even if, and the other hard part is everyone's in different stages of the game too. One player maybe is not using a skill entirely correctly, and they're like, wait, why'd you nerf it? This skill wasn't even that good. Meanwhile, there's players that are using it correctly that it's insanely strong. That's what always makes balance patches harder. You're always going to upset 50% of players, make a percentage of players happy, a percentage of players confused, and everyone's at different stages of the game and knows what they're doing effectively or don't. And it always makes it hard to share them. But we also feel they're very important to the game. And we'd rather some people be upset that maybe their really, really strong build got nerfed and other people be happy that, now there's more viable builds. We would rather that and keep a fresh meta and keep changes and things that people can explore and just deal with the fact that some are going to be upset that maybe their build is not as strong anymore. That's encouragement to go try and see how you can make up for the changes in the build. Or maybe you need to explore a completely different build, right? Maybe the same build you've been using for 6 months is no longer going to be the best build. I think once most people understand the importance of rotating the meta, they will adopt the idea of balancing better, but that will take a while. Yeah, of course. And the reality is like most games do this, right? And to a lot of success. They've found like it's better to have something maybe be a little bit OP and weak, but changing than just stale and the same thing over and over. And there's no reason to try another build because this build is the best. It's always going to be the best. That doesn't contribute to a good game. And while there will always be people upset about their things getting weaker or someone else's things getting better and maybe disagree, which is totally fair, we put a lot of work into these every time, a lot of discussion, a lot of grilling from every side to make sure we're considering everything and a lot of information as well. I'm not going to go through every single change because there's a lot of them, but I'm going to go through kind of the intros on each. You guys can go through all the specific changes or see them here. Archery received significant build diversity improvements through adaptive power conversions on some key abilities that were discarded from the current meta. This change allows players to build hybrid damage dealers that can scale with weapon power or spell power, opening up new playstyle possibilities. We've also improved PvE effectiveness for several abilities and added synergies to create more tactical gameplay. Ultimately bringing several abilities to be adaptive power, allowing for archery to not just be kind of physical minded, but also allow some level of maybe casters want to implement it or other hybrid builds. And then also a few different other kind of changes here. Again, I'll let you guys go through all of it. Quite a few changes. Shadow changes focus on standardizing mana costs across the archetypes' abilities. Previously, resource costs were inconsistent, making some abilities too spammable and cheap compared to other archetypes. Shadow had the best mana to damage ratio from all in-game archetypes on almost all damage dealing abilities. The increased cost creates better resource management gameplay and ensure that using crowd control and burst abilities requires proper planning rather than mindless reflexive responses. Also, relax. I know you see 6 nerfs. Many of these are like 1% increase to mana usage, okay? Most of them are just mana increase usages. Protection. All protection changes increase mana costs to standardize tank resource management. Previously, protection could spam abilities with minimal resource consideration. The new costs ensure that defensive buffs, crowd control breaks, and group utility abilities require meaningful resource commitment and strategic timing, making protection less of an apex choice in all scenarios. This was a big thing. Protection was basically just the always slot in with pretty much any build, and it was just not interesting. And so some adjustments to the mana usage. Lots of changes here. Again, I'll let you go through all of the changes. Some of them are on the cards. Some of them are on the actual abilities. Holy, again, I'll let you go through this. Go through all of this. Spiritual received widespread buffs to bring PvE damage and healing output up to competitive levels. The archetype is underperforming compared to many other options in many cases, so we increased damage on multiple abilities, improved healing values. We also made the cost of restoration more attractive by removing harsh penalties and added synergies between abilities like regenerate and party recovery. Pretty cool change now to party recovery. It adds an additional heal if someone is inside of your party recovery, so allowing kind of a nice synergy between the two of them. Changes to cards, etc. Lots of changes here. Witchcraft changes focus on bringing damage up to sustain values up to competitive levels. Multiple abilities received damage increases to improve the archetype's offensive capability. Again, something that's really important to understand, guys, is we many times are looking at these on a per archetype basis and a per class basis, right? Sometimes you'll see a certain archetype and you'll be like, why are you making that stronger or weaker when it was already in this meta class? The reason that that class was meta may have not been because of that specific archetype, but maybe actually other pieces of the archetype. So you got to look at it on both sides. 1, individually as an archetype, and 2, as a part of different builds, right? And that's how we look at it as well. Naturalist, some changes to Naturalist. Ballistics. Ballistics was the least represented archetype by a lot. It was really struggling. We brought in quite a few buffs to Ballistics. Enjoy, you pirates, and you ballistics users. Future content teaser alert. Ever since the first wave of expeditions, adventurers and monk seekers have been uncovering clues about the ancient ruins and crypts crawling with the restless dead. Are these the remains of a long lost civilization? What fate befell them? Out of all the recovered relics and ancient scriptures, none have caused more debate than the fragments showing a towering figure rising from pools of dark tar. Many pieces of this puzzle seem to point towards something buried deep beneath Tarmire, a chamber sealed under 6 locks, and an ominous warning. Through the black rivers flow, life unravels. Its waters drown memory and flesh alike. Below it rests, sealed by 6, enduring even the grave's decree. Ruse not what time abandoned in the deep, only silence remains. Open not the path, name not the sleeper. What lies under Tarmire remains unknown, but whatever stirs below the dark pools is unlike anything we've seen before. And this is the teaser that we shared with you in the announcement. So you guys already saw it. But for anyone who didn't, there you go. Let me now read on all of the messages since. Oh yeah, the eyebrows are too static. New balance for PvE, woohoo. Surprised they can make changes to cards since they're NFTs. We always try to avoid this. This is something that I tell 100 times to the team. We don't like to make changes to them. We've always, it says it everywhere, that we always will make changes if we feel necessary, because What if one card suddenly explodes the game and you one-shot everybody? We need to be able to make cards or changes. We almost always will look on how to buff them instead to bring them in line. Vast majority of any changes cards will be a buff to that card. But sometimes it is unavoidable, right? There is sometimes that just to make the game a better experience and make that like most of the cards change, it's because they were basically useless. So we felt the need to buff them to make them relevant. Jotav, that's because of other changes that are made in that archetype. Just because we remove or nerf a certain ability, look at the other abilities because they're like, yeah. Again, balance is always a full thing, is not just specific to a certain archetype. Maybe a certain skill in a certain archetype got nerfed, but maybe it's also because the corresponding kind of counter to that also got adjusted or made it weaker, right? Yeah, there's I'm always used to the people that are upset about any balance change, but that's okay. I'm glad most understand that balances are important to a game, and the meta was just way too stale for the same builds. All right, whoever bought that large land with fishing weight increase 2 seconds before I did, just know I'm sad. Rip. Pour one out, brother. Yeah, and again, it's important to always remind you guys too, like balance is always a moving goalpost, right? We'll push. This is a massive, massive balance patch. I think there was like 90 total things adjusted. Also keep in mind on the mana usage. This is why we also brought the potion change to allow everyone to use mana and health potions as well. But ultimately with any balance patch, like we will immediately be looking at the results of that and making further tweaks based on it, especially a balance patch this large, right? If we change like 4 or 5 skills, we generally, you know, it's not going to change as much. This is a massive meta shifting patch. We understand that there will be a lot of new builds that come up that may be really strong, really weak. Some things might need some love, and they will get that. Most of the ballistic cards are no good. Yeah, that's a big reason why ballistics across the board kind of just needed a buff too. The cost of restoration effect changed. Wait, sorry. You send the whole skill, increases your mana regen, in turn reduces your health. Why you kill the chance to play HP reg build to make... I have no idea what you're saying, brother. Splitting CD on health and mana is awesome change. Yeah, no, we knew it needed to happen. I'm pretty sure the reduction in chess was like, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was like, like tiny percentage. But yeah. What will happen to the Poison Petal Lotus card after the adaptive power change to Viper Arrow? The card made it scale with spell power over weapon power. Let me check. I will add that to the notes to send to the team. Actually, maybe I can just quickly check here with... But I will check. I send it just to them right now. See if they respond. Okay. They said they're going to change it. it'll have a new effect. Okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. I have a couple more things that I want to dig in with you guys on the expansion, but also questions, but also I want to share with you guys kind of our strategy a little bit more here. But I'm just going to go quick to the bathroom, grab a drink, so everyone can take a 3-minute break, and then we will continue, not for a ton longer, maybe like another half an hour or so, but we'll dig into a few things on the Quest ecosystem as a whole, and then also questions. So, sorry. They know that there's engineers that do different parts of coding, right? There's some that are able to work on some things that they can't work on other things. They have no idea how to write that language. They have no idea how to work in that area. The character bazaar requires our backend engineers, like who know the database really well, because it's a very critical system that doesn't go wrong, so that characters don't get like deleted and shit. And security level, there's a lot of parts there to make sure someone can't like sell your character without you seeing it. This team has been nonstop working on the DDoS situation. It sucks. It wastes a ton of resources, a ton of development time, but we know that's more important right now. So yeah, unfortunately, development isn't a smooth path, unfortunately. But that's why we don't give dates for things until we're ready to have a date for it. We didn't give a date for the Munk Madness expansion until we knew a date that we could hit. And we've learned the hard way not to give dates, because then if a wrench comes into it, if a wrench comes into it, then we can't hit that date, right? So that's why we don't give dates for those things. But we've also realized, like, maybe we shouldn't engage as much when someone shares an idea and say we like the idea, because then they're just like, when is it coming now? When it's like, we don't know yet. We haven't even, yeah. Music, thank you. Yeah, my bad. Ranting Knight to Ranting Raven. Nice. You got the double header. What about lucky tickets? Yeah. Can I share on this already? By the way, for anyone not in the loop, he's referring to what you get them from referring people. Can I share? I'm trying to think if there's any reason I couldn't. Land buybacks. That's all I'll say. People lucky tickets will yeah, I'll just share it. Based on your lucky tickets, you will get entered into free various rewards based on your lucky tickets. They will not be like consumed in that process. So basically the more, yeah, just from referrals, right? It's completely free to get those lucky tickets by referring players. And we will be doing various raffles for people that have lucky tickets. I think it's time for a Niter leak. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Let's talk about staking. Let's talk about staking. So, for anyone who is not in, like, for anyone who is involved in Web3, right? So more than just RavenQuest, or you're privy to Web3, or you see everything else going on, there is no doubt what everyone very much sees. The Web3 market is tough right now. It is very, very tough. There is virtually no one that is like thriving. As much as everyone wants to see everything go up, in tough markets, usually that isn't the case. Even if you do a lot of things right, things still don't go your way. There's projects that I think are doing incredible things, and it's so sad they don't get more recognition for it. But even with that, it doesn't change the reality of a tough market. We've seen it with billion-dollar companies like Immutable that have gone down 80%. We've seen it, and this is the same across the board. Ronin, Avalanche, all these chains, all these projects, you can only do so much to fight against a bad market. just like when there's a good market, it's almost impossible for you not to go up. Everything kind of just goes up. It's very much like this in traditional markets as well, but in Web3 even more so. There's like, it's more about like how much it went down versus did it go down or up. With that, however, this is where staking, I think, is actually more important. I think staking actually becomes more important when the markets are not super strong, because you want a way to reward the people that are ready to hold for stronger markets, right? The people that are aligned with you, and not just make them feel, because like when markets are all going up, you're holding because like, okay, things are going up, so I want to hold. That's like my gain, right? But this is where I think staking is very important, is in times when you're like, listen, I love this. I want to be 100% behind it, and I am, but there's no doubt that like everything is going down, and that can switch on a dime. We've seen it before where it's like suddenly one day to the next, a little rally happens and it just catapults for forever. And you're like, fuck, I wish I would have had 10x more of this. I would have been retired off this. We've seen it so many times before, but during those down markets, like, how do you make sure that people that are being loyal, how do they get rewarded for that? And that's where staking is really important. And so with that, we have built out our staking system. What was really important for us in the design of our staking system is, one, to make sure that people that believe in what we're doing here get rewarded so that they can hold through the hard times as well and look forward to the good times when they can maximize that, but also making sure that we're not just diluting Quest with staking rewards. This is what most projects do. They just spam more of the token as rewards, and they're basically just inflating the shit out of it. With that is why we have negotiated with IMX to have a $100,000 staking reward pool in IMX token instead of in Quest token. So what that means is that with the introduction of staking, you will be able to earn IMX for staking your Quest, and it will not be just printing more Quest into the ecosystem. So it's actually going to be pulling a bunch of Quest out with staking, and you will be getting rewarded IMX for staking your Quest. This is something that, just to be fully transparent, the stage that we are at now is we are just waiting for their foundation to send over the IMX. We send the messages on it. We're wrapping up some things, but at this point, we're just waiting on them to send it over. We don't think it'll take very long, but it is through their foundation, so it needs like more checks and balances and things to get signed off on or whatever. I'm not sure how they operate there, but I know it's like much more strict. They're under a lot of regulatory scrutiny and stuff like that at all times, like any big chain is. But once that is sent over, then we will be opening up the staking. We are hoping it is soon. We have a date that we want to be dropping it, but we also just don't want to announce that date because that part is out of our control. But ultimately, what's important here is people holding Quest, we want to get them some nice juicy rewards without reducing the power of the Quest they hold. And we know how important this is. We've seen what staking does to a token. We've seen it with many tokens that are in a really tough spot. They bring in staking. It is a very powerful mechanic. Long term, it can cause damage when you're just inflating too many rewards. That is where the IMX staking rewards are really big. And with that, we also want to explore a few additional things to bring in further with staking. Things like, maybe increase to your renown if you're staking, maybe entered into certain raffles, maybe even you obtain lucky coins by staking. There's a bunch of ideas we're exploring. None of those are set in stone. But we ultimately are like, we have people that care a ton about what we're building here and believe in what we're building here and believe like when the market's strong, this is a project I want to be a part of, and I'm going to wait for that and hold on for that. And we need to make sure that they're rewarded while we're waiting for that as well, right? And while we're looking for stronger market conditions, how do we make sure that they get rewarded for that and not just crying in the corner throughout that process? And so this is where staking is very important to us. And overall, we see three really important pillars to what we're doing here. The first, I'm gonna send them here in the chat. Ultimately, there's 100 different things here, 100 different, like this could be a list of 100 things, but the three core pillars here are: one, reducing circulating supply by burning supply. For anyone who doesn't know, when you burn supply, it's not like instantly the price just goes up. Kind of in some ways it can, but not really. Really, the intention of burning supply is if there are 10 apples, Each apple's $1, and there's only one apple, and there's 10 people that need apples. That apple is now more valuable, right? That in a very simple sense. Reducing the supply is very important as a initial step. It's not a good last step, if that makes sense. It's a very important initial step. I just to make sure I copied the right thing over. Staking is the next important step. How do we make sure that those people that are holding that quest that isn't burned, that are holding that, are also rewarded? And then the last piece is now you trigger the new utility. The reason why it's so important, that order, and something that we've learned, again, in Web3, we talk with a lot of other teams that are trying all different things. This space is still so new, and new strategies come up all the time, and they change all the time. And more we get information, and we've been learning so much along the way. Everyone is in this space. And the important part is being able to approach different strategies, right? Because they do hit. We've seen it time and time again. Suddenly a secret sauce gets hit, and it goes crazy. The important part is being able to pivot, and being able to try different strategies, and being willing to, and being stubborn enough as we are too. And so with that, on the further utility, the reason why that is even more impactful is that third step. While utility is always good, right? More utility is always good. It gets multiplied based on the supply. So again, imagine the apple scenario, 10 apples, right? Now there's only one apple, but 10 people that want apples. Now imagine you take that to 20 people that want apples, right? Or those 10 people need twice as many apples, right? It suddenly has double the impact or 10x the impact or whatever based on how much you've burned when you actually do introduce those things. And so we've seen this very differently because I know people say like we need more quest utility and stuff, which I totally agree with. We've done a very solid job of that with the latest, with Treasures Below. The quest usage and velocity in game went up literally 10 times. But there's other pieces that are also required to that, right? In a downward market, you can do everything right and still not go up. And in an upward market, you can do everything wrong and still go up. We saw it with a million projects during bull runs that had literally nothing there and they exploded. These steps are important in this order to make sure that we position ourselves for that. And we're very committed to those steps. Sorry, I'm just going through questions. To be clear, and this is not like with the staking, we need to make sure that we are fine to include in-game tokens as automatically staked. They're obviously like we can on our side, but we need to make sure that this is fine with IMX because they are providing those rewards, right? If we were providing Quest, totally fine. We need to make sure that that is fine, but that is ideally the situation. We want it so that your Quest in-game, you don't have to withdraw it to stake it. That is automatically staked. Again, I can't promise that. We haven't gotten confirmation on that yet, but just to be clear, that is what we are wanting to do. Isn't it possible to give an in-game reward for staking for like, I don't know, 3 months? 100%. That's what we would love to do. I mentioned that earlier, kind of some of the ideas there. Maybe exclusive cosmetics, maybe lucky coins, maybe, renown boost, maybe a boost to your land. Maybe you're entered into like land raffles. Like there's lots of stuff we want to do here. Yeah, there's a reason we don't have a channel list, and it's purely because of what Saul said. We actually used to have that originally in the game, and it was purely abused for that constantly. It was, people hated it. They were like, please get rid of it. We understand that there's nice parts about having it as well, but ultimately it just, the pro was now weighing the con, and it's a con that you haven't noticed because it's not available, right? But yeah. Cosmetics. Ooh. Yeah. Lots of things we're exploring there. To start though, we want to get rewards. Like those are all like bigger things we can build out on the staking and continue to add. But ultimately we want to get the people that are holding Quest, people that are believe in what we're doing here. even through like the toughest market that Web3 gaming has ever had. We want to make sure that they're rewarded for that. And so we want to get staking out as soon as possible and make sure they start farming some juicy IMX tokens as well. All right. Any other questions, guys? We went through a lot here. Oh, yes. To be clear, this will be off-chain staking. It is infinitely safer, infinitely cleaner to do. We had all the support already for it. We probably will look to do it on-chain as well, but it would take much, much, much longer for us to introduce this. We want to get you guys rewards now already. IMX does need to go through it, of course, because they are providing the IMX. But ultimately, they recommended, they're like, you know what, get it in sooner, get these rewards out to people that are holding Quest. Do it a cleaner, simpler way. Yeah. That also makes it much easier to have your in-game quest, or I should say, yeah, much easier, but also for the most part possible, because we don't require a wallet to play in-game. It allows your in-game quest to also be included, assuming that gets approved. Again, we are hoping it does. Maybe it doesn't get approved right when staking comes out, otherwise soon after, etc. So only they do have different rewards on them. Both have pets. The biggest reason for that is to make sure that you're not able to like print stuff, because they do have different rewards. Like, for example, the Lucky Coin wheel has Lucky Coins as one of the reward possibilities. Yeah. Mutable team, it would be might fine if RAVENQUEST could walk about, stake the tokens like a... Oh, you're... Yeah, it would be so much cleaner. Like, and if you're holding Quest in game, to us, that's just as good. Like, we don't care if you withdraw it or not. If anything, we'd rather you just hold it in game, because then you can also use it and stuff. There's also some tough parts there, because we'd rather make it that you don't actually have to stake it in game, and that you can simply having it in your balance. So then we'd have to do like a weighted balance based on like your minimum balance and stuff, and how long you held it for, things like that. It gets a little trickier. We could also just make it that you stake it in game. Mutable based in Australia, right? Yep, correct. Oh, you're talking shit about Aussies. I like it. Listen, I'm a Canadian. We have a lot of fucking Aussies here, and all the girls love them. So us Canadians get salty and bitter. Australia isn't a real place. It isn't. All right, guys. This has almost been a 2-hour AMA again. We're going to wrap it up here. Munk Madness drops in under 3 days. Our team is, as always, incredibly stressed, but also incredibly excited. It's a mixture of both. We put a lot of hard work into this expansion. And again, we know it'll never be enough. There's always more things that we want to do and that you guys want us to do. And we promise we are always shipping. We are consistently shipping. We will bring massive updates, small updates, everything, continuous changes, quality of life improvements, new content, everything that you guys are looking for. It just takes time. We appreciate you guys understanding that. But ultimately, we hope that you enjoy how much we are changing in the game with Munk Madness and new things that we are introducing. And ultimately, I am very excited to watch you guys all running around RAVENQUEST with your new companions and your pets. I'm very excited to see who gets these shiny pets, because also, where do we? Sorry, this is too long. Favorite legendary pet? You can say shiny or not. Mine is absolutely the Griffin. The Griffin is sick as hell. The shiny version is so fucking cool. I'm a little bit upset because the devs said they would not add all the companions to my account. But I'm going to be trying to get a few and be running around RAVENQUEST as well. Because, yeah, our team absolutely cooked. They did an incredible job. Some really cool pets, really cute pets. And very excited to watch players running around with their new companions and at the Munk Carnival itself, and just bringing in a different piece of gameplay for those players who maybe aren't as hardcore and just want a place to hang out and show off their cosmetics and their pets and stuff like that, and having a fun place to do that. But ultimately, Oh yeah, I guess there's not the names here attached to them, so that would be a little bit harder. But ultimately, what I want to say is thank you guys so much for your patience. We're very excited about this expansion, and we have so much more stuff cooking and so many more levers we continue to pull. But ultimately, and there I said it again, you're right. Now I do have a new word instead of at the end of the day. We thank you guys so much for being here. Your trust in us as we continue to build, and we will continue to build. We're one of, I shared this with the Guardians earlier. We meet with a lot of teams in Web3. We're one of the very few right now that are very stubborn on our mission and what we want to deliver. Many are behind the scenes pivoting. They're moving into new stuff. They're just making a new game with a new token. There's like, fuck this shit. That's very, just under a different name. That's very easy to do. We're very committed to what we're building, and we're very stubborn about it. We're going to be here. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to ship. We're going to continue to pivot. And we're excited to see strong markets. It's hard to see them when it is in a position like this, but it happens every cycle. It's the same thing, and then suddenly you completely forget about it once things move again. But we're stubborn. We're very vindicated on what we're doing, what we're delivering, and what we're building, and we believe in our long-term vision very strongly. And that's why we're doing these AMAs. That's why we're here. That's why we're shipping an insane amount of content. And yeah, we thank you guys for being here along with that journey. And our goal, just like for ourselves, is completely aligned with your guys. We want to see Quest go to the moon. We want to see our collections go to the moon. And we're excited for stronger markets to see that. But at the same time, like, we will continue building during that time and continue to build a stronger foundation for that time and make sure that we're positioned correctly for all of you guys. Because as much as we all want to win in our team, we want you guys all to win with that. Our success is tied in with your guys' success and vice versa. So we appreciate you guys. And also, I kind of leaked it a little bit earlier, but lucky tickets, just so you guys know, those will be raffles for various things. So go get your lucky tickets. All you have to do is refer somebody and you get lucky tickets. So get out there, share the word about the expansion. And other than that, that'll be everything. So I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon, under 72 hours until the expansion. Get excited. See you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.